Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be trying a new to me palette. So I've heard very mixed reviews of the Melt 420 palette for years, which has kept me from buying it. But my friend Jamila, I'm Jamila here on YouTube, recently decluttered this because she didn't like the formula and sent it to me so I could give it a try. So I'm going to give this a go, see if it is as bad as everyone else says it is, or if I end up actually loving it. This is a really beautiful kind of olivey and mustardy color story, which I really love. I already have similar tones from Melt and other brands, but really excited to give this a go. And it felt appropriate to do this on today and have it go up on 420. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup, with a definite soft spot for indie makeup and high-end makeup, and I tend to take a pretty analytical approach to the content I make, be it trying something new or talking about things I already know and love, and I have new videos every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. So I'm very excited to try this palette out. I have been tempted to buy this many times, especially when it's been on sale, so I was really grateful when Jamila was like, I don't want it anymore. She really liked the look she got. She said it was too much effort. So I'm excited to give it a go because I have been wanting to try these colors for quite a while. Melt does have a lot of 420 themed palettes and drug themed palettes in general. I have a few of the other ones, but this is one that I have not picked up. Melt has a reputation for being kind of hit or miss with their quality. I've never really experienced that though. I have about 10 of their palettes and I like them all. I would say some are a little bit better than others, but like none of them are bad. Even the Mary Jane palette that a lot of people really hated is one of my favorites. I think it's really beautiful. So really curious to see what I think about this. So this does have mostly mattes, one shimmer. She did send this to me a few weeks ago, but I've just been holding off. I just haven't had the time. And then I thought, well, since I haven't filmed yet, let's do it for this. So I'm gonna do one look. Obviously that's not a be all end all. I will only have tried a handful of shadows, but it'll give me an idea and then I'll, keep playing with it. There is one shimmer. Not the biggest fan of their shimmers. I would say some of their new ones are really nice. Some of their older ones are fine. Most of them aren't that special. Some of the new ones are pretty good though. So I have a feeling this is probably gonna be one of the lackluster ones. So I might use that, we'll see. Here's about the rest of my makeup. It's a pretty simple base. I'll have everything in the description box like normal. I just did concealer. Kosas sent me, restocked my Kosas concealer, so I have that a little under my eyes and a little bit of my Givenchy around my chin because it's a little darker. And then I have a little bit of the Haus Labs blush, the new Fire Moon shade on, my Surratt bronzer just because it's one of my go-tos. And then I used the Gourmande Meteorites again today, so that was what I used as powder. Really liking those. The smell is a lot, but like I am still really liking the effect enough that I think I'll keep them. And then for lips, so far, I don't know what I'll end up wearing at the end. I am wearing a new lip gloss. For me, this is the City Lips. This is the clear one from City Beauty. They did send me 3 of their lip glosses in PR and one of their other products. And I've been trying this out for the last couple weeks, and it is a plumping gloss. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think it looks very glossy. It looks really nice. I just don't really like the scent that much. Like, it definitely has a scent, and it does have a bit of warmth. It doesn't burn like a lot of plumping glosses, but there is some warmth. They also sent me like a sparkly one and then a more opaque one. Still trying to decide what I think about those. I don't really like the opaque one. So far I like the clear the best, but we'll see. So thank you for them for sending this because it's always fun to try a new product, but it looks really great on camera. It's just the smell, I don't really like the smell. So that is everything so far. Before we get into this, I also did buy a couple new things, so you'll see those in the channel soon. I bought one of the YSL quads finally during the Sephora sale, and today my new Byredo palette came. It's already a little spongy because I already pulled it out to look at it. I will not be using this tonight, but really excited for the Mineral Skips palette. I did swatch a couple earlier because I was impatient. But I will be using this all week, trying out looks, trying out shadows, filming stuff, and I'll have a video on this soon. So if you are interested in seeing that, especially seeing swatches on my olive undertone, make sure you're subscribed because that video should be coming up in the next week. Okay, so I'm gonna throw on a little bit of eye primer. I always prime my eyes because I have oily eyelids, and it just means that shadows actually work well on me. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this on and then we'll get into the look. Okay, so I primed my eyes, scooted the camera in a little bit. Really like the way my complexion looks today. I haven't filmed in over a week, so it does feel a little weird. Life has been a little chaotic and my health issues are better, but still not 100%. But this is the color story. So you've got like a nice neon green here, some more olivey tones here, and then these warm orange tones, mustard shade, and then this cool tone one. I think I'm gonna just stick with these tones over here. I'm not gonna use these. These look pretty similar to what you can get in Rust. And these look slightly different from Gemini. So I'm gonna try these out and see what I think. I think I'll start with Faded. I'm torn on, if you wanted to go more neutral, you could just use these, but I think I'm gonna start with Faded and then, you know, see where I go from there. So I'm gonna pick this up on just a fluffy brush. This is a fairly loose, fluffy brush. This is a 15 from Rougher. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that. It's really nice. Bright olive shade, and I'm just gonna dust that into my crease. Melt is known for being really pigmented, and I feel like it's always best to go with a pretty light hand at first. I feel like some of the issues I see people have is going in a little too heavy-handed, expecting like, I don't know, Makeup Forever pigment or something, and then saying it's too much or hard to blend out. So far that looks really nice. It's just a nice olive matte, blended out really well. Tap out the concealer on this eye. See, it's not patchy or anything. Not overly pigmented, but didn't really take much to build up. Okay, so I'm gonna do that on the other eye real quick. So I really like that. That is a nice, vibrant olive yellow green. So I think that's a nice base, especially for my undertone. I'm torn on what shade I want to go to next. I'm probably going to put Roll It on the outer corner, but I want to put something else there. So I'm going to see, do I want this one or this one? So this is like a nice true olive. That's this shade here, kind of an army green olive. And this is a little more green, a little less olive brown. I think because I'm doing colorful, I'll do this one next. I think this would be a really nice olive tone neutral look, these two shadows, but I guess I will go in with Chronic next and give that a try. I'm just trying to grab a smaller brush. So this is a River 14. It's still fluffy, so it should blend nicely, but it's much smaller. Doesn't need to be this exact brush, but you can see it's just a smaller version of a similar shape. Picks up nicely. I really like that tone. And I'm gonna tap it out here. I always want to tap it where I want the most pigment and then diffuse it into the crease. Really nicely opaque and pigmented right there. It's giving me enough depth. I might not need the other shade, but I'll probably add it just in case. Or just because, I should say. So this is blending really nicely. It is a more pigmented matte, but I feel like it's performing similar to other melt mats. It's a little patchy on my lid, but I'm not really blending there. In the crease, it did skip a little bit. Yeah, there's definitely some skipping. So I'm gonna go back in with that first shade and buff the two together. I feel like the gradient up here is nice, but in my actual crease, there's some skipping. So I'm just taking that first fluffier brush and swirling it into the crease to kind of diffuse those, or hopefully diffuse them. Okay, I like the way this is looking. It did take a little extra blending, but not too much, not too bad. But that is not the easiest of their shadows, or shadows in general, that I've used. I'm gonna repeat this on the other side. We'll see if it takes just as much effort. I really do like it like packed on. It might be a nice shade to do an all matte look with this all over the lid, and then a different shade to blend the edges, like that kind of dark green smoky eye. I guess I could try that actually. So I think it actually blended better on this side. I have less skipping in the crease. My eye's shape is a little different on each eye though. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit more on this one, and I'm gonna just kind of dust it over the lid, kind of like I started to on that side. And this is with the same brush. I could use a flat, like a packing brush for, well, I would say for opacity, but it's pretty opaque as is. Okay, I actually really like that. Nice smoky green. I really like that actually. And I think it worked really well even on this fluffy brush. Okay, so I really like the way this is looking. I think in person it looks even better. So I'm just gonna go back in with that first shade now that I've kind of packed the darker green all over, and just make sure that this is nice and diffused. It brings it out a little bit more, adds a little bit more of that olive. I really like that. I'm just gonna do that on this side as well. Okay, so I could just leave it here and I could put a little bit underneath. I wanna try a little bit of the dark brown. Just wanna see what it does. Just right out here on the end of the lash line. So I just picked up an even smaller brush. And I'm not putting it all the way in the outer V. I'm just gonna kind of like bottom of the outer V and my lash line. And then buff up. So I don't know if it'll be visible on camera, but in person I definitely see a little bit more brown, some neutral right here, and a little bit more depth. But it's not like significantly darker than the green. But I think it did make a difference. So because I went really smoky, I'm gonna take a little bit of the Dank shade, like olivey neutral. I'm gonna put that under my eye with, this is a nice packing brush. And I'm just gonna put it down here versus putting the green down there. It's a really pretty color. Okay, so I think the eye looks pretty much done. I could add the shimmer on the lid. Maybe I'll do the inner corner, let's see. And it's just a gold metallic. So I don't really feel the need to use that. It's not bad, but not really what I'm drawn to at the moment. I think maybe I'll take a little bit of this brush, pick up a little bit of the more neon shotgun shade, and put that on the inner corner. I do like a matte inner corner. Brightest, definitely think it looks a little brighter in pan. not bad. Can take the yellow. That's a little brighter. Yeah, that's definitely a little brighter. Okay, so an olivey green smoky eye. I'm gonna go off camera real quick and maybe touch up my concealer right there, throw mascara on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. This is the finished look. I just went ahead and touched up the concealer right here to give it a little bit more sharpness again. And then I put on some of my Lisa Eldridge mascara and one of the new YSL Love Shines. Picked this up during the Sephora sale. It's the shade Scenic Brown. It's the same as the lip gloss shade that I love, the brown. Really like this so far. Wore it yesterday as well. I like that it goes up and down. It's like it has a nice, the same packaging as the Candy Glaze, but it's a little more sheer, a little more, it's a lip oil versus a gloss, so really like it. And I thought it was just brownie neutral enough to go with this. So I didn't use all the shades, obviously. I just used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did use 6 of them, although Wax and Shotgun I barely used on the inner corner, so, you know, mostly played with these though. And I really like this. I think this is a really pretty look. I could have done the same thing and made it like a little less yellowy olive and used the dank shade that I used down here as the transition, or all around, or used it to buff the edges. You could do a really neutral look with just these two. So I'm really happy that Jamila sent this to me. I'm glad she didn't like it and sent it to me. I don't think these mattes were harder to use than any of their other mattes. Obviously I didn't use these more orangey tones or the hash shade down here, but I thought this worked really well. So really happy that I got this. Thank you, Jamila. This is, I mean, that it just goes to show you, one, like, you know, what primer you use, what your eyelid texture is, what your technique is, what your preferences are. Those things all make a huge difference. Like, her favorite matte formula is the Blend Bunny formula, which I don't like. I mean, I only tried one palette. I've just tried blends, but it's fine, but I don't enjoy using it. So kind of like, I don't ever use it because I don't enjoy using it. Kind of like how she didn't use this because she didn't like using it, you know? People have different preferences, and this, I think, worked really well. So I'm really happy to have this. I will keep playing with this during my, probably, in the next month or so, during a favorites and fails. Once I've used this a bit more, I can, you know, say more thoughts. But for a first impression on an old palette, I really like this, and I'm happy I have it. And I think these might be magnetic, so I can mix them around with my other melt palettes. So happy to have another palette in my melt collection. So let me know what you think. What do you think of the look? What do you think of this palette? Do you have this? What has your luck been with like it? I said that weirdly. What has your luck been with it? What has your experience with it been? You know, I'd love to hear your thoughts. But this is, again, why I always say makeup is so subjective, because what someone says is good or worth it is not always what is good or worth it for you. So let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video.